Well. I see you took my advice, but you'll still need to keep what was given to you, as the scenes of horror grow even more unimaginable. Prince and Freddy will continue to be your tour guides on this carousel of hell, only as long as you keep your nightlight close by to keep the black-eyed children at bay, the poltergeist calm, and the night crawlers hidden. Hit the lights and sit back as we welcome you to Nightlight, a horror movie podcast.
And I'm Freddy, also known as Nighty Night, and that is it. It's just me. Prince is on a lovely vacation with his family, but I'm actually not alone. I'm here with a very special guest. You probably saw in the title itself for this episode, I have Christopher James here from I Love Horror. Please introduce yourself. You also have a night name and you also have a podcast, but please, who are you? Why are you joining us?
Well, first off, I gotta say, the fact that you said that you're alone and like, oh, by the way, here's an afterthought. Here's Christopher, by the way. He's also with us. No,
the
hey,
suspense
I'm
building.
Yeah, I know, right? Hi, everybody. I'm Christopher James, longtime listener, first-time co-host for, the Nightlight podcast. I'm excited to be here. I host a little show called I Love Horror. I write for my horror website, I Love Horror Movie Reviews. Very original names, by the way. So there's that. And my Nightlight name is Love Night. So hold on, ladies. I am married. So or dudes, it's 2026. Either way.
Absolutely. And you know what? We love horror, and I'm glad that you're here. And I know you love found footage movies, so this is the perfect month to have you as a guest.
Yeah.
A true lover of the genre, and not only this, but this subgenre specifically. This has been a phenomenal month. I've been having a lot of fun with this month. A lot of movies that are rewatches and a lot of movies that are new to me as well. I love that we covered VHS last week because I feel like that was a lot of fun. And then I know that May, you absolutely fucking killed it doing Censor. I didn't listen to the episode yet, but thank you for stepping in while I was away for a family emergency. Sorry I missed out last episode, everyone. But I know that episode is going to be phenomenal and great. And I'm really excited to do this episode with you because we are covering a fun movie. I love this type of movie where it's like cryptids and seeing like a creature feature, but seeing something that's very different and they kind of swing for the fences. But the movie that we are talking about today is none other than Frogman. Now, you've seen this movie before, right?
Yeah, I remember getting a screener for this when it first came out, and I was like, okay, this looks fucking weird. It did help that I look like a frog in the face. I have kind of the jowls of a frog, so I kind of connected with it at least on that aspect. But no, it's when I was writing for Macabre Daily back in my early days, and then this came out, and clearly I love horror. I love found footage. That is my go-to. So, and I love cryptids. So I'm right there with you, man. I love all the weird shit. But yeah, this one I was impressed. I was surprisingly impressed. That's why I like to go in no thoughts. I'm just, hey, this is a found footage movie. You're gonna love it. Just keep your mind open. Yeah, there's a giant frog. There's a lot of weird shit we'll get into.
I honestly really enjoy how they make this movie very believable and has a little bit of sense of realism, especially the characters, and we'll talk about the actors and stuff like that too. It feels very genuine and very authentic and very raw. They feel like a real friend group going out into the woods, finding what this Frogman really is. And then I kind of love the intersection of their relationships with each other. I was like, oh, that's my best friend. That's the girl that kind of got away, but maybe there might be something in the future. The direction's really well done. And I love where like the Jaws effect, right? The less is more. Build up the tension of the Frogman and show us a little bit, but not everything, and then show us everything. And I think that's what makes this movie very special. It has phenomenal pacing and great storytelling and kind of really wraps you into this world to make it believable. And I really like a movie that has good lore. If you can build a world and have good lore on something, I start geeking out on that kind of stuff. But yeah, how did you feel about rewatching Frogman? Like, did you have the same feelings when you first saw it and then kind of vamping up on that?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I'm the same way. I love a good lore. It's why I love Hell House. It's why I love Art the Clown. You get a good foundation of a story. I'm fucking hooked, man. I love it. And then you add found footage to it. Boom. Like it's a double hitter for me. But yeah, I the pacing is really good. I agree with you. The direction, the like clearly they're probably all friends in real life, but if they
Yeah.
weren't, like you can tell when people are faking it. Like you can tell when someone's like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. I don't fucking care about you. I can't wait to not see you again." And they don't have that, which is great. And the analog camera, I mean, the old school handy cam, like that took me back. I mean, I'm an old man, and seeing that shit, I was like, "Oh man." Well, I'm 40 years old, so like, it's weird to see the VHS tape or the mini like tapes. Do you remember those?
The
Like,
mini DVs. Yeah.
yeah. It reminds me when I was younger. Me and my friends made a Blair Witch spoof called the Blair Bitch Project, and it was ridiculous. It was so
Fair
stupid.
enough.
Yeah,
Great
but it
name.
just
Yeah.
yeah, not original at all. But it was the early 2000s, so I guess it worked. I don't know, but I love that they take you on a little road trip with them. You
Yeah.
feel like you're just, maybe you're
Part
the
of the
secondary
journey.
camera. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're the quiet guy in the back seat, and then they forget you're there, which is totally nice. I like to be forgotten, so it's totally cool.
And I think they do the found footage right as well, where there's a little bit of nostalgia. There's a reason, there's motivation of why they're trying to go out there, especially for the character of Dallas. It's like, this is my one chance to prove I'm not crazy, that I did see Frogman, and I'm going to get that evidence. And also using this as an opportunity to spend some time with his best friend and potential, like, the girl that got away, and kind of just be together. And I love that they talk about, like, the short films that they've created. I'm like, oh my god, they're talking about me. Jeremy J, stop making fun of people who make short films. It's really funny, but it's cool to see a group of friends making movies, because that's what life is all about, is enjoying the horror films and making movies with your friends and just being there for each other. So I really like this movie a lot. And I could talk about it all day, which we will kind of break it down and talk about the scene by scene analysis of it. And I do have to say, the ending really won me over as well. And we'll talk about how everything ends and how I already got a little bit of a sneak peek with the second movie, and I'm happy they were able to get the second movie, which is phenomenal. So I'm very happy that this movie ended up being very successful, where they were able to expand the story, and I hope they expand it even more, and that's all I'll say. And shout out to the cryptids. I feel like I've been seeing non-stop movies about cryptids, and I saw a mermaid movie recently, I saw the Yeti movie recently, so this is the month of cryptids, so stay tuned for that.
I know it's crazy, right? It's weird, like it's like cryptids, and it's like a weird gang name, like we're the cryptids, and then there's the boogeymen, and just there's a weird rivalry between indie horror and big horror right now, which I
Yeah.
love. Like most of the stuff I do is indie horror, but I still do some bigger things as well. But I love indie horror. There's more heart into it.
Oh, 100%. And I love the teams behind it too. They pour their heart and soul into everything they do. But let's jump into this. So today we are covering Frogman. Came out in 2024, March 8th, with a runtime of 1 hour, 21 minutes. It is directed by Anthony Cousins. I was not able to find a budget or a box office, but it was really good enough to have a sequel, so hopefully it did well in theaters or VOD, wherever it went. But it does have a Rotten Tomato score of 82%, which is
Wow.
phenomenal. 82% for a found footage movie is a huge accomplishment in my book. So shout
Yeah,
out
they're
to
usually
them.
dicks. They're usually dicks with their rating system.
So
That's
shout
that's
out to
insane.
Frogman, killing it. But we start off with a conversation with a daily drive during a vacation where we see a family in a car. And then they say the line saying, no one's gonna die today. No one's gonna die. I love how they kind of have a little creepiness already from the very beginning with the dad. The kids are having fun in the backseat and giggling, where they're conversing if they're either fighting or having fun and playing around. They're all going into small America, as they say, as Dad is excited by a bridge and telling fun facts about it while they pull over to stretch their legs. Young Dallas runs out of the car and just seems like he's having the time of his life, as he has his dad ask him what type of fish he would be. With great confidence, he says, I want to be a shark. And his sister says, I want to be a jellyfish so I can sting people. Fair enough.
Yeah, a little sadistic. Yeah.
Sadistic. But I love how the dad's kind of like replies back. It's like, oh, yep, like a teenage girl you are. You're just stinging people around. I do want to say this is the first time we kind of get a little bit of the character development of Dallas, where he feels like a predator. Like, I'm a shark. I'm going to get my meal. I'm going after the things I want in life, which is really cool because it shows that he has a lot of drive in him. They head out as they cross the bridge and go into town. They get a little bit lost, but there's a nice funny moment where they're swearing while they're getting lost. It's like, you can't say the F word. No, I can say the F word, but not you.
Yeah, it's like that South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. It's like, you can't say fuck.
Fuck. Yeah, exactly.
Can I say the parents, by the way? You get a really good insight to early 2000 marital problems with this. You know, he's trying to be nice, and she's like, oh, shut up, you fucking idiot. It's like, wow, okay, well, I smell divorce.
And you feel it in the kids as well, where the sister immediately is like, why are you still filming our parents arguing as they get out of the car? And you kind of feel for them immediately. It's like she is a little bit older and understands like dumb fighting is not a good thing. And maybe he does not understand that. It's like, this is not a normal, casual fight. As they are arguing outside of the car while he continues to film, they hear a noise. Right into the woods, they look around as they move the camera towards the trees. We hear more sounds until we see the famous Frogman, just little pieces of his body as he moves through the trees. The camera then glitches and freezes on the face as we get a nice close-up of the Frogman. Cut to Jeremy J.
Is this guy real, by the way?
Jeremy J? I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't look him up, but I feel like they're poking fun of some, like, maybe news outlets online and YouTube and stuff like that, too. Okay. But
he just played it too well, but I gotta say...
It's like, good energy. Pulls you in immediately.
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, the glitching part was a nice touch. Like, anytime you see the Frogman, there's, like, a little glitch. I like that.
And I love where we kind of get answers to a lot of the different, like, mystic stuff from Frogman, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, it's the telekinesis, interference, or, like, random things that they say later on, but we'll come back to it. Jeremy J plays on screen as he is part of a show called Monster Soup. Pretty solid name. I'm not going to lie. I would eat that up.
Yeah.
He begins to talk about Frogman, describing him as a 4-foot frog hybrid man with leathery skin. Also show that they are telepathic, but not good enough to get into Jeremy's mind. He's like, it can get in your mind, but not mine.
Yeah, he has to have a mind.
Exactly. He's like, impervious to it. He talks about the footage, and what does he think? Bullshit. He calls bullshit on it. He thinks it's fake. And then he talks about Dallas being a 32-year-old that graduated film school that only created 2 short films, poking fun at him. And I'm just like, no, leave him alone. At least he's making the short films. At least he's doing it. So
this hits you in the feels because of your short film, like that's why it's bad to be a critic. It's people like that. They make the good critics, not to, blow my own horn, make them look bad. And then it's like, okay, nobody wants to deal with any type of horror influencer because they're horrible people. It's just negativity and stuff. But yeah, this guy did a great job being an asshole. He may or may not be an actual asshole in real life. And he was just meta.
He does play the character really, really good.
Yeah. I love the concept art, too, that we kind of see, like, as he's talking about, like, everything Frogman. Like
he's got charts, he's got diagrams, he's got it all. He's got the full keynote presentation of Frogman, which is, good on him. It felt like a real authentic video that you would see online. So they made this look very nice. The cool part of this is also added on footage. So it's like footage within footage within footage of actually Dallas reacting to this Jeremy J talking about his own evidence, essentially. He starts yelling about him, and he's like, well, what's your career? Being a troll online? Tells him that he would cry if he was in the same position that he was when he experienced the sighting with Frogman. And that's when we get a really funny moment where his roommate walks into the room in the middle of the recording of him saying all of this stuff, and then he starts talking about, it's like, oh, what you eating there? Oh, cereal? Eating breakfast? It's 12 p.m. It's the middle of the day. He's like, well, I just woke up an hour ago. It is my breakfast. And they have this whole small talk conversation about, cool, cool, cool. Are you still dating that girl? It's like, no, oh, you broke up. Gotcha. So about last night, he's like, I know. I was being loud. I appreciate you guys letting me stay here. And it's building up this tension of he's been staying at their house temporarily, a bunch of friends' house, and it's supposed to be very temporary. And then he's like, yeah, remember when we said it was temporary? Well, it's been 2 years. And I love that they just nonchalantly drop the huge bomb as like a 2-year gap. It's like, yeah, it's not very temporary. You've been here for a very long time. And that moment where it's like, I never wanted to bring up when you should leave. Now is the time you should probably think about leaving and packing your stuff up and going away. Great intro to see where his life is right now. We immediately get a lot of exposition as well. We get that he is not doing well. He is broken up with a girlfriend that he had recently, and he's being a ruckus to the people around him. He's very self-destructive in this point of his life, and he's still holding on to proving that he's not crazy with Frogman. But great character intro.
It really is. He kind of like puts himself out there all on the table, but everyone else, he's like trying to prove like, I know what I saw, it's real. But everyone's like, good thing you're recording, because I'd like to remind you why you're such a fuck up in case, someone actually watches this. But you should know, you should really grow up, man. You're eating fucking frog cereal. Everything's, it's so good. You're obsessed with the Frogman.
You know what? For some people, that's living the life, the best life.
Yeah, who doesn't like cereal? Fuck anybody who says that you can't have
Hop
cereal.
To it. Yeah, why not?
Hop to it.
Yeah, there
the
you go.
Pun Master.
We cut to him going into the garage, getting his old stuff into a box, as we see that he picks up a few things and he finds his old camera, and he's ecstatic about it. He's very happy that he found his old camera. He then begins to film himself as he does a few intros, but keeps messing up. This is my life when I make content. Me trying to make content is literally just me stumbling on my words, repeating myself, and saying fuck to myself over and over again. I never felt more seen in my whole entire life. I'm just like, yes, a 1-minute video takes me 30 minutes, everyone. I'm sorry. But it's so funny to see that in this movie.
It is relatable because, things may seem, fine and dandy when you actually post your stuff, but this is why I hate making TikTok videos, by the way, because I'll be like, hey guys, and I'm like, no, that sounds fucking stupid. And then I almost post the fact that I'm calling myself fucking stupid because I don't understand it. But even when I do the intro to my podcast, I'm like, and I'm like, no, or my stomach will grumble, and it's a great way to reflect on, that we're still real people. Fuck up.
Authenticity is everything, and that shows that he's not a showsman. He is a real person that's lived a life, and he just wants to prove his innocence, that he's not crazy and Frogman exists. And I love this because he continues on and he says to the people, telling the people in the camera, telling the audience that the Frogman footage is it's real, and he wants to show everyone the truth. He says that people keep telling him that Frogman footage is fake and that he's a liar. And he says that he will get the proof that he does exist. And that he says that he can't do this alone, that he's going to have someone else with him. And then it jumps to his best friend, Scotty, which I love Scotty. Scotty is such a great character in this. And he's working, by the way, when he goes visits him, which is really funny. Cut to his best friend, Scotty, working as he continues to say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to work with you. Trying to convince him that Scotty is going to pretty much just do wedding videos. But the one thing that he does enjoy is payment. As long as the wedding videos continues to pay him, that's what he's going to do. And he talks about, like, you wouldn't relate, but I'm actually working right now. I can't be talking to you right now and talking about all of this nonsense. But then he does convince him that says that I'll pay you. And Dallas said that he would pay him and that he would not want to leave him alone with this. And then they begin talking about Amy and if he's going to go to the party. And he's all like, well, what party? And the beautiful thing is, Scotty knows and feels extremely bad. And we already get the sense as the audience, something is not right with the relationship between Dallas and Amy. Where he slowly tells him, Amy's moving away to LA. And he had no idea. And you could tell he's already heartbroken.
This whole movie is setting him up to be just a loser.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The girl I love's moving. She didn't even invite me to her birthday party. And I'm curious about this. Why is every filmmaker in a horror movie doing wedding videos on the side? Like it's like
the
a
go-to,
common thing.
It's like if you can't do it, you have to do wedding videos.
Yeah, went to film school, but now I film, bachelorettes trying not to throw up during a ceremony.
Yeah. Quinceañeras, really cool. All of it, all the things.
Yeah.
All the parties.
Just see this light. The light really caught this lady's, face sweat when she wanted to tell the bride to run. Yeah, my God.
It's kind of funny.
This guy. Yeah, this guy, I feel so bad for him because he's nobody, like, everyone's like, hey, we're best friends, but you're a fuck up. And then at the same time, he's like, oh, the girl that you love? Yeah, she's leaving. So, that's so depressing.
And you could tell they do care for each other and they want to be there for each other. And it's like, ooh, you didn't know? Well, all right, like, let's cool it down with the conversations. Like, let me tell you how it is. Dallas responds, is he even invited? And then we just cut straight to the party where he's all dressed up and they even make a joke that he's like, what are you going to do? Go to a Coke deal? Like, why are you dressed this way? Scotty sees Amy at afar and greets her immediately as Dallas kind of hides away in the corner, but she spots him and says hi awkwardly. They all talk for a little bit, and then Scotty says that they're only going to be here for one drink, and they emphasize the joke that it's only going to be one drink before we cut to Scotty dancing on the table, really drunk. As you could tell, one drink was not the goal that was met. He's probably had several drinks at this point, or a really large drink. Maybe he's just had a chalice. Who knows? But this is a really funny scene. And I want to say this too. This movie is very comedic and it's very funny at times. And it has really good editing style too. They have really great cuts in all of this as a found footage movie.
Yeah, and there ain't no party like a found footage party, because I feel like every found footage movie is, hey, let's introduce the characters, we're going to get drunk and have a party, and then 20 minutes later is when the shit actually happens, which I'm fine with. Character development, please.
This very much reminded me of Cloverfield and how that movie kind of began. Where like, oh, it's the girl that got away. She might be with another dude. She's also, or no, wait, he's moving away. So it's kind of like the reverse effect. He's about to leave, go to Tokyo and leave the girl behind that he had like romantic relationships with, who was also just a friend. So there's a lot of good parallels with this, and Cloverfield is one of my favorite movies. So there's no reason why I wouldn't have liked this movie too, because it kind of fits the genre really well.
Yeah, the only movie to trust T.J. Miller as a cameraman, which I find very fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, T.J. Miller, the stuff he's done. All right, well, as we continue, a bunch of her friends begin doing their goodbye speeches to Amy, wishing her well, saying congratulations, as we cut to Dallas trying to record one for his own, but then Amy shows up next to him. She begins to sit down next to him and starts talking about how he has been avoiding her, but not at the party, just in general. He explains that, well, he hasn't has heard back from her as well, so it kind of throws it back in her course, like, well, phone works kind of both ways, and they have that kind of that breakthrough, and then he kind of talks about like, oh, you're moving to LA? I thought you were just thinking about it, and she's like, yes, I was thinking about it, but then I went to LA, and it's just where her career needs to go next. That she's very tired of doing all of the local commercials that she's been doing, and she wants to do movies. That's when he says that she can star in his movies. And then we get that little knife in the chest right here where she says, I mean real movies. Oof.
Oh, man.
Tough.
Jeez.
Tough hit, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm glad you wanted the job at that time and considered it a real movie, but now you're, hair flip going to LA, which apparently is the road to every person who wants to be famous in a movie. I'm going to move to LA from a small town.
And yeah, that's pretty much how it is too. But his ego is completely hurt, but he quickly kind of recovers as he's talking about he's making a real movie and a real documentary. And she asks about what? And he says, Frogman. That's when we get the awesome best friend coming out of nowhere, Scotty, all drunk and coming up to them and seeing what is going on. He then asks what they're talking about, and Amy talks about them making a movie called Frogman. He then asks Dallas, well, that thing you wanted me to do, is that still available? He says yes. Scotty's like, fuck it. I'm in. I will do the camera work for your movie, Frogman. And Dallas just lights up. He's super happy. He's super joyful. He says, thank you so much. And then we have a brilliant idea come out of Scotty. He's like, Amy, you should come with us. And then Dallas, of course, is like, you should come with us. And of course, she's like, no, I can't really do this. Dallas just agrees with Scotty and saying that they have to convince her that she can be the star of this movie. And that's when she finally gives in and says she can't leave the both of them alone in the woods. So she is in. That is a yes. The team is on the journey as they are packing things up for the next day. And this is a great intro for where this movie goes next. So far, brilliant. I like the way this movie starts.
It's very they have like a very heist movie kind of like moments with that, like son of a bitch, I'm in, and kind of this movie's like Goonies, getting the crew but together. With a frog. Yeah. It feels like Goonies, but with a giant frog that fucks apparently. But that's like it's got a very Goonie feel with those three.
Yeah, no, this movie just has like good energy in general. Watching these characters, you really root for them from the very beginning. They're all likable characters for the most part. As we cut to the next day, we see Dallas talking to his sister as she keeps asking him why he's doing all of this work. He explains that she saw Frogman too, and that he has to do this, that he would regret this for the rest of his life if he doesn't. She kind of agrees with him by not saying anything, but just says, be careful, as they hug. Then we see Scotty, and it's a beautiful shot of Scotty just looking super hungover with all of his stuff in his little suitcase, sunglasses on during the day in the morning, as we see Amy arriving around the corner, full of energy, ready to go, and starts packing stuff up into the trunk, which is really fun. And then we cut to them driving.
There's always that friend, though. You had a night of drinking, and you're feeling terrible, and someone's just bubbly, like, oh, guys, it's perfect. Let's go to breakfast. It's great. Yeah.
And I love, they made the joke before, too. I didn't even mention it. Where it's like, all right, it starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And Scotty's just like, 9 a.m.? Really? Like, I'm really drunk now. And then we cut to this scene where he's completely hungover. So it's a good payoff in this movie as well.
Yeah, the post-party shades are a must if you're cutting to the next day.
It's like, it's too bright outside. I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, I've had enough shade from the world. Now I just have to put my own shades on. Well, while they're driving, Amy asks about what her character is going to be like. And he's like, whoa, it's a documentary. There is no character. You're just being yourself. And she's like, well, that's no fun. She builds different characters with Scotty, and they're both having a lot of fun. And they even poke a little fun at Dallas and saying, oh, maybe I should look for Frogman 20 years later and be obsessed with this. I should be that character. It's like, oh, that's kind of pathetic. And they're like poking fun at him a little bit.
Jeez.
As Scotty and her go back and forth with all these different characters, she goes into this whole thing where, I forgot to put the name here too, but she's going to embody a country singer, and that's going to be her persona for this documentary, which is really funny. But she has to look the part, and they all kind of look at each other and like, nope, I'm not stopping, nope, and then shopping.
I think it's Norma Jean.
Norma Jean, there we go. Yeah.
Norma Jean.
Norma Jean. She has her like Southern comfort accent as well, hitting
pretty good accent.
Yeah, really good. And then they have to look the part, so they go shopping for clothes, and it's really funny. But then they find like the perfect outfit. She's got her hat, her denim jacket, even like what was it? Dallas was trying to get his own outfit. And he's like, well, how do I look? And it's like, yeah, you're fine. But look at her. She looks awesome. She looks amazing. This is the character we need for this documentary. So you could tell that Scotty and Amy are not really taking this too seriously, but Dallas very much is. He's there for like, I need the proof because this will better my life. And they're like, we're just here to have fun and make a movie together again. So they have different kind of motivations at this point. They are back on the road as we see Scotty on the camera and says the audience has had enough of the other two faces. So he's starting to film himself. They arrive at a rest stop, and then they talk about what the game plan is. That he wants to begin interviewing people from Loveland. And specifically, he wants to talk to George Hale, who was the other Frogman guy who witnessed Frogman and has that photo. Amy comes up with a disgusting sandwich out of nowhere and puts it right into his face and says, "That's not coming in the car," as they cut back into the car. The camera is recording as it's nighttime now, as Scotty is passed out and you can hear him snoring. Amy and Dallas begin to make small talk. He says that he's missed this feeling of filming with his friends again. He tells her that he broke up with his girlfriend recently as she was asking about her, and finds out that she broke up with him because she found out months earlier before them dating, they hooked up. And pretty understandable.
Yeah, I mean, in all aspects, it's like, you don't want to know about people's past, who they dated, but at the same time, you're curious. But I love this moment.
Yeah, well, especially if they're still within the friend group too. It's like, are you still hanging out with this person? That will ruffle some feathers for sure.
It's like that 70s show effect where they all dated each other in the same friend group.
Yeah, it's messy.
Yeah.
But then they start talking about how they never talked about that night. Not really. They said that it meant nothing to them, and they both agree that they should pretty much just bury this deep, deep, deep down inside and not really talk about it, and they should just be friends. And they all come with agreement, yes, let's just be friends.
I hate this shit so much. The romantic in me, because, I love horror, but I also love rom-com, so I'm screaming at the screen, just how you feel.
Just tell her. Yeah, exactly.
Hate that shit.
Which we get the little payoff later on, but still.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But the funny part is, while they're having this whole entire conversation, there is a point where the snoring has stopped as well. And I found that as the rewatch, when I rewatched this movie, I'm just like, oh, I know when he kind of woke up. And we'll talk about the reveal with Scotty and him being the backseat passed out. We have silence for a little bit as we see Amy look back, and we cut to the next day as we arrive to the town. They want to stop by the sign to take an intro for everything for the documentary. She says that she will not be playing around and she'll be taking it seriously, as we cut to her doing her country singing voice, bringing in the intro. And they're very proud of, Scotty and Amy are very proud of the introduction, and Dallas is not. He's not amused. He's like, you should have taken this seriously. And then I love what Scotty says, like, he'll thank us later at the film festival or wherever they're going to premiere it, which is like, he'll like it, trust me. As he goes back to the car, he starts it up and slowly starts driving away, leaving them behind. And it's another funny scene as they chase behind it, and they have that really sweet moment of like, all right, let's get back to work. They drive into town, and Scotty calls it charming in its own way. I love how he says, like, it's charming in its own way.
I mean, it kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
I love little small weird town. I came from a small weird town like that, so... I mean,
it's
not
vibes.
that small now. Yeah, I love rest stops and weird shit. Little trinkets you can find. I love that stuff. There's a place in Utah called Beaver, Utah, and they have just a place. They sell these shirts. I love Beaver. So it's it's weird and it's so great. And I love road trip and road stop shit like that. So this part was perfect for me.
Well, I know it's a very, very famous place, but it kind of reminds me of like Buc-ee's, where like everyone just loves Buc-ee's. That's like the rest stop to go to, but like the small town rest stop, like we were talking about, that just has like their own individual postcard and like random like mascots, and like they celebrate their high school's football team because that's like their main event in the small town. So they have like merch in their stores for that. Yeah, it's very interesting. It has its own like little personality, and I love the land of Loveland. It's such a good name as well. They drive into the town as Amy asks if they're going to be scouting, and by scouting, that means getting ice cream, because who doesn't want ice cream before going to work? And they're joined this little small town. They all make jokes about who's buying the ice cream and he's not gonna buy it. Amy says that he's becoming a flirt with the person who's working at the ice cream store as they're talking. They talk about other people being either a frog or a rat. That every person is either a frog or a rat, and then says, well, what am I? And she's like, yeah, you're a little bit of both. You're kind of complicated. And I kind of love that. And I kind of want to ask you this question. What do you think you are, a frog or a rat?
Oh, man. Well, if you ask my wife, she always likes to say that my butt looks like a frog standing up. So I think I represent that most of my life. I
Okay.
have no ads. She always makes fun of me about it. So, and I hate rats. I'm terrified of rats. So if I was going to be anything, and I'll tell you, frog legs taste really good. So I want to taste really good if someone's going to eat my legs at least. So there's a lot more positives with the frog aspect. The rat is just no. It's just what about you?
Unless you're Remy from Ratatouille,
Well, yeah,
then you're a world-class chef. I just gotta say.
yeah. If anyone
It's
eats
not
your
like
legs
poison.
after that,
That's fair.
you're fucked. Yeah. What about you? Are you a rat or a frog?
I really hop to it, so I'll say frog as well. So
Nice.
yeah, definitely.
I can't feel like this is a true episode without at least 5 of Freddy's puns. Otherwise, I can't get through the rest of the day without it.
Exactly. I should have looked up more frog puns, to be honest, because I don't even know what I'm about to say. Hopefully, it all makes sense. It might be
That's
gibberish
why it's
of
good.
me trying to say a pun. Exactly. Yeah.
It's off the cuff or the lily pad in this situation.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see, I learned.
There you go. A little launch pad. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to say though, this is obviously a very weird conversation that they're having, saying like people are rats or frogs, and I just found that so interesting. And I will say this: it's not a spoiler for the sequel, but they bring it back for a line.
Nice.
And I'm just like, oh, that's a funny callback. But sure, people are either frogs or rats.
I like a good callback. I love a good callback.
Yeah, it's nice. It gives homage to the thing that started it all. The worker at the ice cream spot wishes them luck to find Frogman. They walk by the bridge as they compliment the water and the view and all of the sights. And then there's a really cool photo spot of Frogman where they can take turns posing inside the Frogman cutout. So the big thing about this town, they all love the legend of Frogman, and they kind of use this as a tourist attraction for people to spend money in their town and kind of popularize it a little bit. So they all take photos into the Frogman cutout, and they're like, I gotta admit, that was kind of cool. We might as well just call it. We're pretty much done. Let's go home.
Yeah, because they assume that's the only frogman they're going to see, but little do they know.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
see a lot. Then we see that Scotty begins to interview Dallas and talk about what he wants the world to know about the truth about Frogman. He says that he wants to inspire people to not give up. And then he kind of looks back at Amy. He's like, are you making faces? As he's like talking about this great motivational speech. He's like, I want people to know the truth. I want to inspire people to not give up and to always keep going. And he just feels Amy behind him just making the face. It's like, are you making faces? And it cuts. And it's like another comedic perfect hit as well.
Yeah, the comedy doesn't overlap the scariness or
Exactly.
the terror in that, which I love.
It feels real. It feels
Yeah.
authentic. It doesn't feel forced. And it's like not like a joke. It's more of just like, oh, mannerisms that are funny between friends. They then arrive at a hotel and they look at each other through the mirror and they're just filming and just having fun. And I even said here, the hotel looks pretty cool. Seems like a nice place. And the place is called the Bullfrog Bed and Breakfast. Love the name. Really cool. 5 stars. Let's go. They ask for 2 nights at the hotel, and the receptionist is very happy to talk about Frogman with them, as it always brings business to her place. She then gives them a map, and the best time to find Frogman is around dusk, and lets them know about where they can actually go to see Frogman. She says that her name is Gretel, and that they have their room, and if they need anything, to just hit her up. They go to the room as they're all having fun and they're dancing around and they're drinking a couple beers as Dallas is just sitting in the chair being a little bit of a grump as they continue to play music and even twerk around him and just party all the time. Then we cut to them watching the short films that they made together and some of the BTS around the short films. So I still love where the other two is still, this is just fun. This is a cool trip with friends. And he's like, this is about the truth. I need to know that Frogman exists and the world needs to know and prove himself. But then we have this sweet moment where they can sit back and enjoy the time that they had together in the past and kind of go from there, which is, I think this, when the movie slows down and has this moments, I think it works really well for the character development and to really root for these people. You really understand that they have a backstory, they've lived together, their relationship feels lived in, which is really cool.
Yeah, I love that too. Like, it adds to the realism of a friendship. Like, you could see these people actually being friends. You could see them, enjoying it. And it kind of makes you nostalgic for, like, the little road trips you would take with your friends, like, when you're younger and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I used to love taking road trips with my friends. We'd go to this place. It's outside of Utah. It's called Wendover. It's like a mini Las Vegas. So we'd always go there and have a blast. And it was just, I don't know. I like a good, road trip shenanigans. And I feel this is good. And besides them acting like the worst hotel guests ever, like, I feel every time I see this movie, I go back to all the noisy people and, like, Three Doors Down, like...
Everyone else in the hotel room probably hates them right now.
Oh, yeah.
But to your point too, I love road trips, especially with friends, because I feel like that's the time where life can move pretty fast. And when you're on a road trip with friends and you're going a long distance and you're kind of trapped in a car and listening to music and singing along and telling stories, it's the best time you can bond with your friends. I think it's like one of the most beautiful things. And then you get to different destinations, different rest stops, go to different restaurants. People need to go on more road trips with friends. That's my recommendation. If you hear this episode, go on more road trips with your friends. It's more fun.
Yeah. Throw a little frog in it too. Like, bring a frog puppet just to honor this movie.
Exactly. They're all having fun watching the movies in bed, as we see that Dallas and Amy are on the behind the scenes footage, and it seems like they are flirting on set as well when they were filming the short films. Dallas decides that he has to go to the bathroom, and Scotty tells Amy while he's gone that he has heard everything that they talked about in the car. And she said, "I thought you were asleep." And I love what he says, like, well, guess what? You're not the only actor. I love that comeback. That's so good.
Yeah.
He's also thinking that he's not surprised and he thought this would have happened a lot sooner. She explains that they both agree that it was a mistake. And Scotty says that's not what Dallas told him. She asks what he told him, but Dallas comes into the room and stops the whole entire conversation. Then we jump to the next day as they begin their interviews and see a bunch of the public from Loveland. And let's just say there are some wild characters in this town.
I love this part.
It's so good because you get all the different types of personalities. Some are more excited than others. One saying that Frogman can read minds, and this is the first time we learn about his abilities. Amy asks, like, oh, what should I do next? And this is where Dallas comes be kind of a little of a dick at this point, where he's like, yeah, I'm just going to start taking the lead, and I'll just do the interviews because I don't like you doing your character, essentially. So he puts on a serious face, and he's like, no, I mean it. And then continues the interview without her interviewing the other townfolk. No one really takes him on with the recording. They ask him a lot more questions. It seems a lot less fun than when she was interviewing everyone. Everyone was a lot more warm and welcome to it. Where it's like, what are you doing? Why are you asking me this question? It feels a lot more cold, where she did bring a lot of personality into her interviews, to be honest.
Yeah, you need the gregarious person if you're going to interview people.
Right.
Not being a fucking stick in the mud like him. And, just, it's like he's getting... you're doing a tax audit when he's interviewing you. And then she's like, hi, I'm Norma Jean. Tell me about the Frogman.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I love where, like, everyone, makes him feel that way, too. It's like, no, you're not a good person. It's like, well, I don't know why you're asking me these questions. And a lot of people show shit. I was like, I love the girl, too, where it's like, hey, it makes sense. It's like, why does a Frogman have to be a guy? It's like fair enough. Yeah, you're right. They talk about how Frogman put Loveland on the map. They talk about also the wand that he has, which is really interesting, which I forgot this element before doing the notes for the podcast. I was like, oh, I forgot he's like a wizard as well. And I love that aspect of that. And other people saying he also hooks up with women as well.
Yeah.
And then
which is
like,
weird.
Oh, it's like, and I like how the guy's like, I don't partake. He's like, I want to make sure it's like, I'm telling you the intel, but I don't know it from personal experience. It's like, I'm not into bestiality. It's like, okay, man, it sounds like you were down to do it because it's like, not me.
Yeah, he's like that guy who's up for a threesome and chickens out at the last minute. He's like, I attempted. But yeah, the whole Frogman fucks thing is so hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's become a quote now for a lot of like the advertisements for like the sequel too. Yeah. And they talk about it later too.
Which is weird because he fucks. you don't necessarily know what he fucks, because does he fuck frogs? Does he fuck people? It gets alluded to later, but the wand, them saying Frogman fucks and showing that wand's a sex toy. It looks like a sex toy. It really does. It lights up, it probably vibrates. I think, Frogman's very progressive with his hooking up.
Yeah, he explores.
Yeah.
Dallas then asks the audience, what is Frogman? An alien, legend, or maybe a little horny? Who knows? Dallas finds a cave and says that some people were talking about this cave as he looks inside. Amy then asks if he's going to go inside, and because she won't and Scotty won't. And he says he can't fit, so they continue. There's a couple more people with Frogman merch, which I love seeing, and they point out towards where the store is where they can get some. They check out all the merch, and it's really cool stuff. And I even put here into my notes, like, I'd buy some. And then we get a man called Woody, the Frogman expert, talks to them and tries to sell them stuff, and literally tries to sell them everything. Everything from a Frogman footprint that he did himself, but they also have a special flute to call the Frogman, and this piques Dallas's interest. And Amy quickly whispers to Dallas to not spend his money on stupid stuff, essentially. But we all know he ends up buying it.
Yeah, plus it's a store. You gotta spend stupid shit on a store from out of town. Like, this store is exactly how that I Love Beaver store is, because it's all I Love Beaver merch everywhere. Yeah. And I love the merch in this store. I'm like, oh man, I really want like a Frogman shirt and all the Frogman shit. Like, I want it so
I generally
bad now.
want Frogman merch, so I might actually end up getting some for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure the team behind this movie probably has stuff.
Oh, yeah, they had to.
As they continue spending money on stupid stuff, they walk down the street as they see one of the crazy guys they interviewed earlier with a Frogman cockpit saying, like, look, as they are hopping back into their car, driving around, listening to Frog Lord, which is kind of like metal music with strange sounds. And Amy asks, like, do you even like this? And he's like, yeah, totally. Amy looks around and sees that there's a bunch of cops and asks what they're looking for. And Dallas says that they're looking for her, and then she responds, maybe they're looking for Frogman. Amy then plays with the idea that Frogman can be mating with people, and Dallas says, actually, that could be true, that he might be building an army, that he can be multidimensional or have real magic. Scotty then asks if he's a wizard, and he says maybe, and that they will find out. They park the car as they see a sign that says it's for frog parking only. And this is a great place where this is like the tourist attraction area hike where you go to potentially see Frogman. There's no person there, but they see that there is a bucket where you have to pay $5 for parking. And Dallas says, I don't have $5. Sorry, Scotty, that's on you. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to pay $995 for this job. Again, a very genuine, real joke that someone would probably say.
Yeah, 100%.
And I love how Amy makes fun. It's like, well, if you didn't buy that hoodie, you would have $5. They walk a little bit until they find a sign that says 1 mile to Frogman Point, as Amy stays in character of Norma Jean. Scott then says it's getting darker as we see the camera point up at the sky and we see the sunset. It's now dark as they continue to walk as they put on night vision and turn on the camera light. Amy then calls out to Dallas as he's far ahead, but all they hear is something in the woods around them. A bunch of crackling sounds around them begin to go all over the place. Amy asks if it's Dallas, and it's not. It's actually our sponsors. They call out to Dallas because it wasn't our sponsors, it was actually just noise around them, but they finally get up towards him and they get jump scared by him. They follow him and they arrive at Frogman Point. And I love the name of this place too, the location, Frogman Point. It's like, hey, you guys want to hang out at Frogman Point? We might see Frogman, you know? You can tell this is probably where all the stoners go from the city.
Oh, yeah. It's a great place. It's a great place to get drunk as a teenager and maybe try cocaine for the first time.
But it's also the scariest thing ever because it's like far into the woods too. Like they're hiking up this place. That's when we hear that Frogman usually is around the woods nearby the river, as Amy thinks she sees something that moves down below. Scotty uses the camera to zoom in to see if they can see anything. They kind of zoom back out as things begin to focus, as we do see someone move within the trees. And then Dallas grabs the camera quickly and starts running full speed with the camera towards down the river. And that he begins to talk to himself while he's running, saying that everyone's going to believe him now, and fuck Jeremy J.
Yeah, I love this part so much, because he's like, yes, I got you, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. He runs fast enough and actually catches up to Frogman and tackles him, finding out it's just a person in a Frogman costume, as he begins to scream for help and saying that this is his job, as Amy catches up and is completely shocked as well. The guy begins to explain that there is no Frogman and that he just gets paid to be there.
Yeah, it's a Frogman expert, right?
Yeah. Oh, was it Woody? I didn't even realize
it was Woody, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So Woody gets attacked dressing up as the Frogman, and he even says, like, everyone's always cool about this. You're just the only crazy one to go after me, essentially. He asks for his mask back, but he throws it into a tree and tells him to jump and go get it.
So good.
So messed up. It's so funny. Yeah.
Such a good burn, though. It's like, you kind of ruined his fucking night. So he's like, oh, sorry, whoops. There's your fucking mask.
You can tell this means so much to Dallas. Like, this is his purpose in life, to like get past what he has gone through over the years of people calling him a liar and his footage being fake and everything like that. This was his one chance, and it kind of slips away, and he's angry, rightfully so in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, he spent 20 years trying to prove the Frogman exists, and he's basically, he gets so excited,
close, so close.
Yeah,
gets
it's like a little kid seeing him again, like for the first time.
Well, they all head back to the hotel as Dallas comes back furious to the bed and breakfast, trying to find out where Gretel is. She sees them and asks if they made it to Frogman Point. He says yes, and he saw the show that they were doing there. He tells her to cut the shit and that he saw the real Frogman and wants to know everything. She then takes him pretty seriously and says, all right, turn off the camera, and they pretend to not record, but she catches them. So they kind of hide the camera, but still we can hear the audio. They continue talking as they are staying until they can find Frogman. She says that they better leave or else, in a very threatening way. They then begin to leave and drive into the night as Amy asks where they're taking him. And he says, we're going to interview George Hale. That's when a bunch of flashing lights go off behind them and they are getting pulled over by a cop, and Amy asks if he was speeding, but he wasn't. The cop gets out of the car and gets in front of their window and asks for the license and registration. He then looks at his license and says, you're a long way from home, and that he hears that they've been causing a ruckus in town. He says that they're just out there to look for Frogman. He responds that he found Frogman and assaulted him, and then he threatened Gretel, and he's obviously talking about the guy in the suit, Woody, and that they are very lucky that he's not going to be arresting them. But he tells them to get back to the bed and breakfast, grab their stuff, and go back home. Amy agrees, but the cop wants to hear it from Dallas. Dallas reluctantly says, I agree, and he is going to be leaving. The cop is happy with what he hears and then leaves him. Dallas sighs and calls him an asshole. He waits until he leaves fully, and then Scotty says that they should go, and Dallas says that they need to talk to Hale. Amy pleads him to go home, and he finally says yes. After we talk to George Hale, which I love how he's like, yes, we will go home. After we talk to George Hale.
Yeah. Which is good. This is the point where the movie starts to go off the rails.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the pinnacle. Yeah, and I love this part. I love, like, the townspeople going crazy, the cop shit, and then,
it feels like everyone's in on it, which is cool. It's a fun mystery to unravel. It's like they don't want them to be around to talk about Frogman, the real Frogman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you have your suspicions, and you're like, okay, if you weren't invested before, like, you're like, okay, now you're
really invested. Yes.
Yeah.
They continue driving further and further into the night, and seems further away from society as well, as Amy asks where they're going, and Scotty makes a fun joke saying jail. They make it to the destination as he gets out of the car and calls out to George. He then gets to the door of the house and screams hello, and honestly just enters the house. And I was like, okay, breaking and entering, right on. But Dallas quickly comes back out and tells Amy and Scotty to come in. And I was like, oh, luckily George is there and he allows them to come into their home rather than him just budging in. But he does welcome them, but it's kind of rude. It's like, don't touch that picture of my granddaughter. Don't touch anything. Just like sit there. Don't do anything.
Well, he's nice enough to let him in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, just don't touch my stuff. And they sit down and they begin to prep for the interview. And they talk about how they are setting up the lighting, which I thought was really funny. It's like, oh, how's the lighting? It's like, your hand's covering the light. It's like, oh, my bad. So there's the funny behind the scenes moments as well of the documentary, which feels, again, authentic and raw and real.
Oh, yeah. Typical filmmaking, like 101, like
Right.
shit before you get like onto it.
Yeah, it's like, we'll get the angles and the shots. They begin to talk about George and how his photo got a lot of attention. He says that he was with his buddy getting mushrooms and they went too far, and that it got dark and it felt like they were being watched. They quickly got back to the truck where they were at and they turned on the headlights, and there was Frogman. Everyone being happy that it brought the tourism, but not anymore. The town folks don't really like it anymore. But they all have their reasons after Dallas asked why. They ask if it is because they worship Frogman. He then begins to panic as he thinks he says too much and wants them out of his house. Dallas then shows him the picture and says that this meant a lot for him and to give him what they want and then he's like, you know what? It's not going to matter anytime soon anymore. So fuck it. Wait here. He then gives him a piece of paper and we see that it's a map and says that Frogman can be found here. They have the map as they leave the house, and he tells Amy that if they don't find Frogman using this map, it's going to be the last thing and they will go home if it doesn't work out. They all agree, hesitantly, but they head out to where the map shows. They park the car and Dallas tells Scott to keep filming no matter what. Scotty says, even if Frogman is eating you, and Dallas replies, especially if Frogman is eating me, which I thought was really funny too. It's like, get that footage.
I love it.
That's the footage we want. They arrive around this overpass of a stone bridge as they continue into the woods, being surrounded by big rocks and pure darkness. It's quiet, but you can hear a bunch of nature sounds and a lot of frogs around the area. They even find a small one on the ground as it jumps away. Scotty then asks where are they going, Frogman's lair? Dallas then calls them over to a tree with ooze on it. That it has to be from Frogman because it's green and it's not tree sap. He says that they are dangerously close and that they should continue on. As Amy and Scotty kind of look at each other, it's like, yeah, he's losing his mind. Which is another like funny moments. It's a lot of tension building, but also tension release during these moments as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's very Scooby-Doo if they talk shit behind Fred's back, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. That's when they begin to set up camp, as Dallas asks for help from Scotty, but Scotty responds to him as like, hey, I have to listen to the director. The director told me I can't stop filming, so I can't help you. So it kind of throws it back in his face after that. They tried to start a fire, and they had a little bit of hope, but then there was no luck. The fire is not there. Everyone is pretty angry as he continues to say, oh, they need to find dry sticks. As Amy goes off to see if she can find some dry sticks, but with an attitude, she's really pissed off. She's storming away. And then Dallas looks at Scotty and asks if she's mad at him. And he is shocked that he's just figuring that out.
Of course.
And this is where Scotty comes clean to Dallas, saying that he knows everything. He tells Dallas that he needs to tell her how he really feels. Shout out Scotty. Scotty was a really good friend in this movie the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Scotty pretty much ignores how Dallas is reacting to what he's saying. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to go for a nap. It kind of goes into the tent. As Dallas kind of sits in silence and pulls out the Frogman flute that he bought from the store. Cool looking flute. It's interesting. I like this aspect of like this is part of the lore too, and how like everything works. Yeah, there's a really cool mechanics to this movie and how everything plays out. I even put here as he begins to play the flute, he's not that bad. I'd listen to it.
Yeah, it's a very delightful sound. Like, even if I wasn't a frogman, I'd be like, oh, hello?
It reminds me of
Hello.
Majora's Mask when Link has like
Yeah,
that little flute and stuff. It's like there, it's cool. It's soothing.
yeah,
It's fantastical in a way.
it's very whimsical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whimsical. Yeah, absolutely. As he's playing, a bunch of frogs around the area start ribbiting. As he wakes up Scotty, he shows Scotty a huge footprint and asks if he's getting all of this with attitude. He says, I am getting this. And as he's getting pushed further and further from Dallas, begins to get fed up and just leaves the camera on the ground and begins to walk away. Dallas then grabs the camera and tries to walk up towards Scotty to tell him to hold up. He says that he's done with him and that Scotty is just going to be doing wedding videos and that he kind of regrets him being there. He's being a bad friend right now, Dallas to Scotty. That's when they get back to the tent and they find slime and ooze, the same stuff that they found earlier on the tree. And Dallas is extremely happy. He's like, oh my God, Frogman was here, basically. He was here and they're close by and everything's going well. And that's when Scotty realizes that Amy is still missing. They all scream to look for her until they find her just standing there in a zombie-like state. They try to wake her up, but nothing does the job. They continue to do it as we see Static flicker the camera with a jump scare of her screaming out of one of the cuts, but back to normal of her waking up and not knowing where she is. She says that she was just looking for firewood, and she heard something say her name. That's when she heard it inside of her own head. And Dallas says, holy shit, as he explains that she was looking for wood like an hour ago. She doesn't believe that it's only been a few minutes, and even asks Scotty of how long she's been gone, and he validates that it's been for about an hour, and for her, it's just been minutes.
I love this part so much because that cutscene, like the whole cut of her like screaming and it's like freeze framing and stuff, and the aspect that she's been gone for so long and she doesn't really realize that it's been an hour. It just is really good, like suspense building.
I like how this movie doesn't have to explain anything too much. It just gives us like little pieces of other lore of what's happening and the different things of like the effects it has on other people and how things play out. I think it's very interesting how this state of being of just like being zombified and just being stuck in a moment and having this telepathic frogman at the womb of like, I can have these followers like this, and we'll see more stuff like that later on too, which is really interesting. So essentially she gets out of the state and she feels like it's only been minutes, but that's when they begin to hear croaking and it's all around them. They run after the sound as Scotty and Amy is left behind, and he says, over here, as they run that direction and the camera begins to malfunction. Dallas then says it's probably from the telekinetic interference. Cool, we get our quick little answer of why the camera is acting bad. Cool, we'll take it. I was like, Dallas, I doubt you know what you're talking about, but sure, we'll buy it as the viewer. They film as they say that he's trying to get in their heads as they smell something weird around them. And Amy seems to start to feel sick and feels like she's about to puke. They see something move in the woods as Dallas goes after it, but then falls over. They all begin recording as they need to change the battery of one of the cameras as Dallas says they're going to catch it. Amy asking how as her camera battery dies and asks for them to turn on the light. As Frogman is right behind them and they begin to scream as they run all away, and we see nothing but the screams and them being scared and all of the croaks.
Such a cool part.
It's the great jump scare. No, a very effective jump scare too, where like lights go off again. And then jumps on again, and he's literally right behind him. And he looks good. Looks very. We'll talk about this too. The Frogman design is well crafted.
Oh yeah.
You could tell this is a practical effect. It's not really CGI. I'm assuming we get like a man in a suit, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, which is what you want for a Frogman.
100%. There's some parts of this movie where I was like, I don't know how they pulled that off, and it looks great.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, they scream as they all run away, but we don't hear anything besides what's going on, the chaos of all of it. Scott then begins to film himself as he turns off the light as we hear Frogman getting closer and closer as he croaks and growls. Scotty then turns on the camera and the light back on. Immediately, the tongue of Frogman leaps out of his mouth into the camera, dragging it away from him as he tries to run away, but Frogman gets on him as we hear muffles of his voice off screen. Scotty manages to get away and grabs the camera and meets the other two as they go to the car. That's when Frogman jumps onto the car as we see it on the sunroof as they quickly drive away as Frogman falls off. And Dallas is ecstatic at this point. It's like, we got proof. Everyone's going to believe him now. Dallas realizes something. His enjoyment kind of goes away for a little bit as he begins to shake his head in disbelief as now he begins to get emotional about the whole situation that he finally found the Frogman. They all get back to the bed and breakfast as Dallas wants to go find Gretel. Scotty then begins to feel really sick, and Amy even asks him if he's okay. He says that he's fine as he goes to the bathroom as he looks into the mirror and checks out his own skin as he's beginning to change into a more scaly form. Again, practical effects look great. Makeup design, phenomenal.
Yeah, I love this part.
Good. Yeah, he's going through it. He begins to worry as he puts the camera down to take a closer look. He coughs and begins to vomit off screen as we cut to him back outside saying he's okay. They all begin to hear some chanting coming from a distance. Dallas obviously wants to investigate this and hears it coming from the downstairs into the caves, and Amy wants to get out of there, but he continues forward. They find a door and Dallas goes in and then quickly scares Amy and Scotty as he pops back out of the door. He says that Amy can stay there and be safe while have Scotty come with him and go down this like cavern into the tunnels of the caves. They go into the underground caves as they begin to hear the chants more and more. And the place is also flooded with a little bit of water and green ooze on the walls. We then see Scotty's hand on the camera and his condition is getting worse. They find an opening against the wall, and they continue to go that direction as that's where the chants are coming from. It's a very tight squeeze, and Dallas asks him to switch to night vision, and he does. We then hear the chants getting louder and louder as they get closer. We see someone in a cloak pass by them, but they didn't notice. But then we see them join others dressed in the same way as they're dragging a woman in all white screaming for help. They chant something as it makes her stop screaming and immediately becomes put into a trance. A ritual begins. A woman begins saying that she is honored to unite their father with the beautiful bride that he has chosen in holy marriage. And they hope, which is a funny thing they say, they hope that this results in multiple polywags. Scotty then asks what's happening. We zoom in to see Frogman begins to walk into the cave and join the rest of the cult. The rest are dressed in cloaks, but have masks over their faces as well. Frogman begins to get closer, but then a gunshot disrupts everything. It's our boy George coming out of nowhere, out of one of the cloaks. He like pulls it backwards and
such a badass.
Such a badass, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
good old
George. It's George.
George Hale. I'm about to hail down you. I don't know. That was a terrible pun. Okay.
No, that's good. Or like, get ready for some hail.
Exactly. George is amongst the crowd and he tries to stop the whole entire ceremony. Frogman quickly retreats as the rest of the cult sees the filming crew as they chase after them and also George. George telling them to run as they begin to run away as well. As we quickly see one of the cult members with their mask falling off their face, showing a frog-like face screaming at them. Worked very well. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, great effect. The shaky cam out of the tunnels continues as they run into Amy as she's inside the tunnels now because she heard screaming. And she asks what happened, and they say that she wouldn't believe them if they even told her. They continue heading into the caves, but they run into some giant eggs covered in green ooze, and I even put here very much like Alien.
Yeah, it had an alien feel. Yeah.
Even their poster for their sequel gives me alien vibes of like the egg crack and it's the green poster. It's a
Yeah.
nice little homage to that.
Yeah, much like the poster behind you.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice.
Yes,
Yeah, there
literally
you go.
that.
Yeah.
Literally that.
Yeah.
So people who are watching the video podcast, there you go.
That's right. Freddy came to play.
Exactly. Dallas then notices that one of the eggs has something in them. He begins to open it and an arm comes out of the egg. He says that they need to get them out of there and peels away as we begin to see it is George's granddaughter. She is alive and breathing as she starts screaming in pain as she begins to give birth to a weird creature as the camera loses focuses as they witness something horrifying and you just hear the sound effects and the camera's out of focus and it's
so gross.
so good. And on top of that, we then see with the camera that Scotty is fully transforming into a reptile himself as Dallas tells Amy that they have to go and begin running again. They begin to run, but they don't know where to go. She asks if he saw his face. He agrees and that they need to get the hell out of there. But then he takes a moment to pause as he starts to profess his love to Amy in case it's the last time they get that chance.
Yeah, it's like the best time or worst time. Yeah.
He's finally doing it, but it's like not the opportune time at all. But I get it. It's like, we might not make it out of this. This is my only chance. I can tell you how it is.
Yeah, it reminds me of MacGruber. Have you ever seen that movie where like they're defusing a bomb at the end and then he starts proposing to the girl? She's like, yeah, we got 20 seconds. Yes. Finish defusing the bomb. Yeah, I guess if you may or may not die, might as well go all out.
Exactly. But as he's professing his love, she can't even really pay too much attention because she begins to have a headache and hears the sound that she heard in the woods in her own head. We have the camera continue to disrupt a little bit as we get flashes of old footage and new. Then we begin to see Frogman using his wand on Amy earlier. Dallas wanting proof and more. We continue to see Amy in pain as all of these glimpses of the footage and the tunnel in the woods come flooding in. Amy is beginning to call out to Dallas in the woods in black and white. She asks who's there and that she's scared and that says that he's got her. She is just standing there, not moving, and then we hear a distorted scream and nothing but static. And then her body being dragged by Frogman's tongue back inside the tunnel in the caves. And I even put here, everything looks great. This is the part where I'm just like, I don't know how they pulled this off. The tongue is wrapped around her like 3 times and he's like pulling her away from like 5 feet away. So the tongue is like fully extended, wrapped around her like a snake, pulling her away.
There's scenes in movies to where you can tell where they put extra thought into it because they're like, this has got to be the pinnacle scene. This is, the last hurrah before everything goes even more bad shit. And I loved it too. I loved the whole tongue thing, her getting dragged, the whole cuts between like all the shit that's going on. Yeah, it's why Frogman's one of the best.
It's one of those movies that it stays with you for a little bit. It makes you like,
yeah.
I see him as a symbol of one of the best creatures in a found footage movie for sure. He's up there as one of the icons for found footage. I don't know about like all time, but Frogman's up there in the tier list. He's up there. As we continue seeing this amazing scene, Dallas sees Frogman's wand on the ground and picks it up. He immediately uses it against Frogman. He saves Amy and then runs out of the caves with her as they begin to hear people screaming. They finally find George as they follow through an opening in the wall to continue towards the exit. Dallas then asks George what was with all of those people. He says the less you know, the better. He then says they are almost out of there and they can't stop now. George then takes them out of the entrance and back into the woods and tells them to follow the water out of here. He then says that he's going to go back because if there's any chance that his granddaughter is alive, he's going to go back there to save her. Good for you, George. They follow the river back as they look at the cave opening one last time before they continue forward as they walk up the hill of the woods and they begin to see the town in the distance. Amy then begins to start crying and falls to the ground. Dallas says it's okay. they have proof, and that's the one thing that's only on his mind, and it's the only thing he really cared about, that the whole world is going to believe them. Amy pleads for him to just stop. He finally realizes what he's saying and that this is not helping the situation, so he agrees. She continues to be on the ground crying as the camera goes black. Then we get words on the screen. Authorities refuse to take this footage seriously. Scotty Fontaine is considered a missing person. Amy Matheson currently lives in Los Angeles, California. Dallas and Amy haven't spoken in over a year. George Hale and granddaughter were never seen again after that night. Their whereabouts are unknown. In the last sentence, Frogman is still out there. Cut to Scotty smiling into the camera before a dedication to him for the credits of this mockumentary. As we see that the mockumentary was being played in a theater filled with an audience, as continued festival noise and announcer coming out, cheering the movie on, as they introduce the director and they keep calling his name, but we see that he is backstage. Dallas not moving, sitting in silence, as the music begins to get intense, and then we get the real credits of the movie. And something you said that kind of surprised me when we first, before we recorded, I should have stayed towards the end of the credits because there is an end credit scene. Christopher, can you tell us what happens in the end credits? Because I didn't know.
It's very interesting because it scrolls and then it has like a Marvel thing, like
Frogman returns?
will return. Yeah,
Oh,
and
I
then
love that.
It cuts to Dallas, and he's just sitting there still, distraught, and he pulls out the wand and starts looking at it, and then it kind of lights up, and then it fades to black. So it's kind of a nice, like, okay, what is he going to do with this? Is this wand maybe, like, part of, like, the power that he has to allure people, like, you know, say Frogman? So is this why he's famous? Is this why people are now acknowledging the fact that Frogman's real and really taking his work seriously? So it kind of has that ambiguous kind of feel to it, like, okay, is he going to be corrupted by this? Maybe next time we see him, is Frogman going to... We know Frogman will return, but it's, I don't know, it's a very good bookend to make you, like, really excited for the next one.
And it's cool too because the movie title of the second movie is called Frogman Returns. Yeah, I won't spoil anything about the second movie because obviously that's not out yet for a lot of people. I just have to say it is a great follow-up and people need to check out Frogman 2. If you like this movie, you're going to love Frogman 2 because they don't double down, they quadruple down on the Frogman lore and they show everything. They're like, no, you know, it's like we're making it full sci-fi at this point. A little bit less on the horror side, but more like, actually, no, there's a lot of horrific stuff in it too. But yeah, take a look out for that too. Usually we will jump into fun facts, but there's actually not a lot of fun facts that are listed on here. They just say that it does have an end credit scene and a mid credit scene, and also where it was played at the festival circuit, but no other fun facts besides that. I guess the fun fact is this movie is phenomenal and it's fun. It's a lot of great. But what are your thoughts after this whole breakdown of Frogman?
Well, I mean, the best fun fact is that Frogman fucks. So that's Frogman one of the best. Yes. Yeah. It's so random and I love it. I mean, getting a chance to watch this again and then doing the breakdown, it just makes you appreciate how great of a movie this is. You know, it doesn't matter, and this is one of the best things about found footage. It doesn't matter what the topic, as long as you have a good story, the lore, and there's a motivation for why they're holding the camera, it's always going to be a good aspect to it. And, you know, it takes a lot of subgenres and just mashes it into one. Kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's cryptids, it's a mockumentary, it's, you know, a found footage movie.
Creature feature, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also has that Grave Encounters 2 aspect of it.
Yeah.
To where, like, he's a director, but he also wants to prove things are real. And, I don't know, it just reminds me of just more reasons why I love found footage. Like, really, just because found footage to me is some of the most immersive horror movies that they have. It really puts the audience there as if, like I said earlier, like you're in the back seat with them while, you know, they're taking everybody on a road trip. And, you know, this movie kind of shows why indie horror is so important. Because, in my opinion, a lot of indie films lately are killing it more than the big ones, the big budget ones.
I love indie film.
Oh god, me too,
They're
man.
so
And
good.
especially if it's found footage, like indie horror found footage, some of the best that I've seen. But indie horror in general is just so good because it's like Dolly. Dolly was recently one that's starting to get a lot of buzz, and that was at Fantastic Fest last year, and it was so amazing, and it
Yeah.
was so good, and it just reminds me like this is why indie horror needs to get more opportunities than some of the big budgets ones. Like, I'm probably gonna get some shade for saying this, but there's some TikTok people that made a horror movie last year that was terrible, and they got representation by Shudder when there was 20 different movies from Fantastic Fest and beyond that should have got that representation.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, for everyone who's listening, please support indie film. It's a very important. They pour their hearts and souls into it. Usually, they have little to no budget to work with. They have to push their creativity. They have to push the teams. Everyone has to be on board with the same vision and inspiration and get the job done. And seeing any film be made is a miracle. And I will always praise that. Where it's like celebrate people's work, and that's what this podcast is all about: is celebrating the amazing indie films, big films, just movies in general, and all of the creators behind it because that's something so special. And please, this is probably a great moment for you to plug your podcast again and where people can find you on social media because you have a podcast called I Love Horror and you get to listen to a lot of guests talk about their passions within the genre. And please, everyone, go check his stuff out. It's amazing. I listen to it all the time. But please, Christopher, take the stage real quick.
Well, first off, I want to say I'm truly honored to be on this podcast because I also listen to this podcast too and have been a big fan of it for a long time. And the fact that you also listen to my podcast is, very humbling to me and just another reason why I love doing this. But my podcast, I Love Horror, it's on all podcast, streams. You can find me on Instagram, I_love_horror_podcast. Same for TikTok. I'll put some clips on there. Like one of my big recent clips is I got to interview Lynn Shay for
Heck yeah.
Scared to Death, and that was a lot of fun. And my link tree has my YouTube channel where I'm gonna post some of my mini interviews with filmmakers and stuff outside of the podcast, and also my website. Like I started the website almost a year ago, and I feel like it's doing good. I'm really loving having that control. But I love horror movie reviews. So ilhmreviews.com is the best place to do it. And, just much like we said, continuing to support indie horror podcasters such as myself and Freddie. And, my podcast is very big on indie horror and big mainstream horror, but a lot of people I have on are from indie horror. So I'm very happy that I get to give them a platform, to do that and, be a source for that.
Absolutely. You're doing amazing work. And I hope everyone goes checks it out.
Thanks, man. I hope so too. Because,
yes.
we're approaching like 6 years doing the podcast and, it's going really well. I got some really awesome guests that I have lined up that I can't really announce yet, but I'm pretty excited. My next guest is one I will tell you when we're done recording, but
Okay.
Oh man, it's I'm talking about being a fanboy on this point. I'm gonna also be a fanboy with this guest, so I've got a lot of big things coming.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it. And of course, thank you all for listening and for our special ghouls supporting us at Patreon. This Patreon shout out is for you guys.
What is up, ghouls and knights? Here's our weekly shout outs for our Patreon members. They are at the $10 level. They are at the Lantern. You're even cooler if you're at the 25, but you know what? I love you at every level. $10 levels where you get the personalized shout out though. You can message me on Discord, Instagram, anywhere on our socials, and I am happy to give you a personalized thing, whatever you want, okay? Let me know if it's a birthday, anniversary. I got you, boo, okay? Oh, also, death threats. JK. Not really. Okay, here we go. Michael, Avery, a.k.a. Southern Night, a.k.a. NyQuil. Come back to watch parties. I missed your face, bitch. Okay, love you. Kevin, we survived a wedding road trip, okay? The wedding was incredible. Winter, Hunter, I love you guys so much. They're some of my bestest friends in the world. And Kevin didn't even crash my car. Amazing. Thank you so much. Gia, myself, Farah, my Twilight bestie, who I finally had the pleasure of meeting. My life is complete. I'm not crying. You're crying. Okay. Sergio, Jasmine, Kadrea, Firefly, Raquel, Bim, Johnny, and Joe are 2 streamers. Catch them in the gaming channel, okay? These boys are so fucking funny when they stream, and come to our watch parties and you can meet them. And Joe always has the funniest fucking t-shirts, and Johnny has the cutest cats. Okay, thank you. Kelly, Rain, our marketing manager, love everything she does and like every single post, or I will hunt you down. Okay, thank you so much. Carrie and Chantal, okay? Join our $10 tier, and again, your name will be shouted out every episode by moi, okay? I love you. Starting a while ago, until forever, this is a thread.
Thank you guys for supporting us. Love you guys. Thank you for everything that you do. And I love this community and all the people that we've got to meet and kind of collaborate with. So thank you, Christopher, for jumping on, being here with me while Prince is away. Me and Prince will be back on the next episode. The next movie that we're going to cover is going to be one of 2 movies. Voting is still happening on Patreon as well. And it's actually really fun. I can actually pull it up right now, which movies are going head to head, because I completely blanked, even though I had it in my head a minute ago. It is between The Ring and the Backrooms YouTube series. So if you want to vote for one of those movies before we actually record, do it as soon as you can. If you don't want to sign up for Patreon where you have to pay, you can sign up for a free account, and that allows you to see all of our movies, and I believe to vote as well. But this was Nightlight, a horror movie podcast. I was one of your hosts, Freddie, also known as Night Night. Joining me today was Christopher James, also known as what?
Love Night.
Heck yeah. And with your help, we can reach out to more ghoulish nights with your recommendation for the show. So if your podcast app does allow you to have a rating, please consider giving us a 5-star rating, as it does help us out a ton. For extra related to horror content, head over to patreon.com/nightlightpod. That's night with a what? K. And remember, everybody, don't forget your nightlight.